All right, ladies, welcome back to the Branded by God podcast. Long time no see. It feels like it's been a whole new year has passed. The holidays have passed. We survived. Okay. Pat yourself on the back for surviving. All the ladies making it happen. Usually we're the ones hosting and packaging and gifting and all the things. So we made it. It is now the top of 2026 and we are still branded by God. And so I'm super excited to have a new guest with us today. Her name is Molly Gomez and she is from Signature Story Company. And y'all, I love the name already. And when I had a chance to kind of just do a little bit of digging, I'm like, hey, this is my sis. Like, this is my girl. So Molly, welcome to the Branded by God podcast.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. And I know we're just going to have lots of fun today and just see where it flows.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Molly, tell us who you are and what you do in your own words.
Yes. Well, I would say, long story short, my husband and I are we recently moved out to Nevada from Southern California, Las Vegas area. We absolutely love it out here. Everybody thinks of the strip and all the craziness. I'm like, we're up towards the mountains. It's beautiful. It's sunny all the time.
Mm,
So I'm here for that. I'm solar powered, so I need that vitamin D.
yes.
But it's just he and I at the moment. We're both entrepreneurs, and God just gave us, different businesses to steward in our hands. And at some point, we will start our own family, which I'm very much looking forward to. But in the midst of that, being a little bit older, turning 36 this year, not starting a family, I see so much that God has done, in the waiting and in the process. And that could be a whole podcast in and of itself, because I know there's so many women, whether you haven't found your person or haven't had kids, but we get to steward the season that we're in. And He has done a work in me, I will tell you, because I'm like, come on, God, like let's go. And He's like, who's in charge? I'm like, okay, got it. It's been such a beautiful relationship between the Lord and I. I've known Him. Well, I can say I've been following Him most of my life, but really have come to know Him in the last like 5, 6 years of like having that deep relationship of just like, okay, Lord, use me. Use me. And so he first planted me in my profession as a news anchor and reporter. I did that for about 5 years. Thought I really was getting into an industry where I could tell good stories, and they weren't good at all most of the time. It was just like, if it bleeds, it leads. If it's depressing, it gets the front page. Like, it's just no, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I got out of that industry. I actually got fired out of that industry for trying to help people better themselves, long story short. But it gave me a really great skill set, how to speak, how to really be able to tell stories. And storytelling has always been a priority for, I mean, just whether it's content online or even all the streaming apps, like we always want to get lost in someone's story. And so I took that and then basically brought it into this world of entrepreneurship and a bunch of different businesses, having my hand at whether it was network marketing, digital marketing. I've built multiple different companies, but my true heart is really in the consulting space of taking people where they can really just take their voice, their lived experience, and really turn it into that market demand, an increase of market demand. We are constantly like, we have these things in our hands that God has given us, but are we using the right words and storytelling to really convey, like, this is what it is? There's a really big gap right there. And I want to shorten that gap so people can understand you, what you've gone through, and then how you can help them get to that next phase in life. And really take your business, for example, because my mission field is definitely in the marketplace. So if you have a business or a mission of any kind, and really be able to use it as an avenue to lead people back to the Lord, discipleship, and just go a little bit deeper. So I'm definitely somebody of depth. Not everybody's cup of tea, but if you want that stronger tea, you're in the right place.
I am here for all of it, y'all. I'm here for all of it. And so I love everything you just said, and we really have some things in common. I didn't go into the broadcast journalism space, but that's what I majored in college with the intention of going into that space. And so for me, it's really kind of funny that I kind of made my way back around at least to like podcasting and showing up live and doing all the
Yes.
things because there's a need for us. There's a need for us. And I love how you said, in that industry, they wanted this kind of story. And we have a different story to tell. You know what I mean? And so I love all of it. And story is not just about marketing, right? Like I feel like with the
Right.
online space, storytelling has become even a bit of a buzzword, right? Because they're like, oh, storytelling. And then there's always some like salesy, I'm trying to get you to buy something in the midst of it. And so the art of storytelling is kind of getting lost in that digital space. So I'm looking forward to what you're going to be sharing with us on that note. So let's talk about this well, no, let me back up. Describe your ideal client. Like, who do you love working with?
Yes, I mean, I've worked with so many people that are just getting started, and there's such a love for when somebody's just getting started. They're excited, they want to do it the right way, like they're green, right? So they're not having to unlearn things because they're green coming into it. So I've worked with a lot of people that have just started for many years. However, the space that I have been called into is really that higher caliber with women, 6 to 8 figure business women professionals. The responsibility's big. The weight is big, and really going into that deeper level of you are putting so much energy and effort out there with all that you're doing. Does your story, does your voice reflect that and what you're putting out there? Or is it just something that ChatGPT is just spitting out? ChatGPT tends to be a lot of people's voice these days. And although it can give great frameworks and give you some good verbiage, it cannot replace your story and the things that you need to share. So a lot of these women are just trying to like, okay, let me just get some things out. And along the way, getting into where the world is deemed successful, they have compromised. They have, just maybe like, okay, I got to brush this under the rug and, lack of stewardship here, lack of stewardship there. And it's no shame. It's no like, oh, you did this. We all do it at some point. Let's get real with ourselves. But
Right.
let's now take a few steps back. I call it the slingshot method. You kind of have to go back a little bit, but when the release happens, it's like you miss no time at all. And it's like exponential energy. So it's a place of refining the voice to match what you're delivering, what you're giving into the market with your lived experience, as well as being able to dive deeper into stewardship and kind of do these life audits. Life, your spiritual audit, business audit, like where do we need to audit things? So that higher caliber woman that is really looking to just, okay, I need to dig deeper into stewardship. And then how do you take your business and actually make it more of a discipleship engine as well? Like everybody talks about leadership, and that's great. I've loved leadership for as long as I can remember. But the older I get, it's now let's dig deeper. It's not necessarily elevating, it's actually
Right.
digging deeper into
Yeah.
discipleship so we can fulfill the Great Commission, Matthew 28:19, to go out and make disciples. It's not the church's job, it's our job. And so these women understand that it's the assignment to a degree, but getting in that environment where I have something called the aligned and assigned inner circle, which is for 10 to 12 women. So you have that tight knit inner circle where people are in similar seasons, maybe different businesses, but they want to go deep. Not
Yeah.
everybody wants to go deep, but those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, they're like, I need something deeper. And I have
Right.
always been called to the deep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is anybody else out here? So I'm just like, you know
Yeah.
what? Let me just get out here and create it. And so that's where that was birthed. The Lord was like, it's time. People are
Yes.
searching for the deep. They want it. So let's give it to them.
Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him. Absolutely. You just said so much. I'm like,
Sorry.
no, 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 it's good. It's good because my wheels are like, okay, Brittney, stay on track, stay on track, stay on track. Because we could be here a minute. We could
Hmm.
be here a minute. I did a training yesterday, and I was talking about how we are sent into the marketplace because, yeah, we have a solution for a problem that's out there, but there is something that happens beyond the transaction of the dollar bill. And so the people that God has assigned to our businesses, He has something to say to them. He has
Yes.
something that He wants to shift them out of or shift them into. And we have to be discerning enough to know that's the assignment we're on. Like, yeah, I'm going to make you a beautiful website. I'm going to, do your branding and you're going to look beautiful and all the things. But what is your soul supposed to be doing right now?
Mm.
And because if you look the part, but you're still not carrying the way God wants you to carry or what He wants you to carry, we're still missing the mark more than we need to
Yes.
be. You know what I mean? And so we're definitely on track with that and in alignment with that. And I love the mission heavy drive. Like, let's just put Jesus in the forefront and leave it at that. You know what I mean? And that's what being branded by God is all about.
Yes.
That's what being branded by God is all about. So let's get into a little bit deeper into your origin story. You talked about how like the women you work with, they sometimes skim the surface. They'll tell what needs to be told, but it's so surface that they're not really tapping in and they're not hitting anything because it's like, oh, I struggled a little bit when I was in college, but now I'm great. And it's like, no, sis,
Hmm.
we need to know what alleyway you found yourself in, like what bars you found. Like, we need to know that
Mm,
so that we can all overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. If you don't give me the real testimony, I can't overcome nothing, right?
come on.
So let's talk about that. Like, let's dig into your origin story. And I want you to kind of get to the point where you're letting us know how you begin to use your story strategically.
Yes, yes. Well, this is all going to lead into, so just make a mental note, everybody. Like, there is going to be a free gift at the end that's actually going to help you start guiding yourself into what do I say and when? Because that is the number one question. I don't know what to say when they start putting like seven stories into one, and then it's too much. And there's so much going on in your brain. We have to compartmentalize and start organizing it so you can use it as strategy because your story is the strategy. That is the only thing that is going to separate you. So everybody's chasing different strategies and marketing techniques, but they're missing the boat if they aren't really digging into the stories that matter most. So to your point, I always tell people and kind of poke the bear a little bit. What's that one story that you feel like if you told that one, you might get canceled? Like, what is that one story you're like, oh, if people knew that, oh man, I don't know. Well, I'll give you one just to go first. So this was back when I was a co-founder of a pretty large Christian membership that was global, and so leading a lot of women, founding like being a co-founder of the company. I there's a certain persona you have to put out there, right? Well, a year before, this was a couple years ago, but basically, I remember the Lord saying, "Hey, you need to tell that story." And that story was when I used to smoke marijuana for 10 years. And then there was an instance where the Holy Spirit's like, get rid of it because if you keep doing it, you're cutting me off. And I'm like, oh, well, it's time to get rid of it. That should have been hard to give up after all that time. But within an instant, I literally packed this bag of all my stuff, hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. I don't know why, but I decided to video it, dump it off in my trash chute. And then I held on to that video for a year until a year later, the Lord's like, it's time to post it. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. Like, I will get canceled. That's no way. Well, I was like, okay, like just trembling. I put it out there and the opposite happened. So many people at first were all like, wow, never thought you would be doing that. And then they were like, wow, me too. How did you overcome it? It's my only TikTok that has ever gone viral. It's really the only reason I have it. Not that I care about that, but when you read the comments and you see the breakthrough, you see chains falling off literally in the spirit in the comments,
Yes.
that is what it was for. And so I think it was like 4 years ago is when I posted it, something like that. So all that to say is that story, I thought I was going to get canceled. And the Lord brings up other ones that I'm now starting to recollect, but people of a higher caliber are like, if they'll use that stuff against me. How about we play offense instead of defense? If you come clean, here's what I learned. If you want to hold me to my past, then you're not my person. Okay. But if you want to empower, like, you know what, you moved through it. How can I do the same? Those are the stories that I'm digging for and helping them, like, let's put that out there. And so we get so terrified if they knew. I just had a podcast release a couple weeks ago called Eviction to Elevation. My husband and I came out of a season where we escaped nearly 3 evictions, and it still felt so fresh because it hasn't even been a year. But what God has done with our obedience since we've said yes since then has been astronomical. Do you think I want to talk about like us evading evictions after all this? No, nobody wants to do that. But
Yeah.
I go first because I'm like, look, did you see what happened? Do you see what people resonate with? It's truth. It's real. And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of depth that I feel, not that we have to all go that deep. That's
Yeah.
where I've been called to. But we think it's going to cancel us or shame us, but it's actually a lie of the enemy when he says that. It's let's share this. If the Lord leads, you have to ask. Don't do it without asking. You don't want that kind of smoke,
Yes.
but it will bring so much restoration and breakthrough for other people because I firmly believe, and I'll wrap it with this, is your story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So that right there, like they get to see that lived experience and be like, wow, this isn't just a marketing ploy, like you said. This is real stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of my like biggest things. When we talk about authenticity, authenticity is a core value of mine. And in that, you have to show some of the ugly stuff. One, two, like you said, we all have ugly stuff.
Hmm.
You see me up here shining and posing and doing all the things. Sis got ugly stuff in the closet, okay? And really, it ain't a closet no more because I done gave it to the Lord. But like, we all have stuff. And
Yeah.
the people that you're called to oftentimes will have similar stuff to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so if we could just lean into the fact that our story really, truly is for somebody else, we'd be freed up. We'd be freed up. I have written 4 books now, and I still feel like I haven't written the book because
Mm,
I am recently in the last year or two coming into that understanding. Like you have to tell the real story.
mm.
You have to put, because I'm an elder in my church and I'm a brand strategist and I have a podcast and I'm a wife and a mom and all these things. And so, yeah, that thought has crossed my mind. Yo, if I tell them this, they
Hmm.
gonna look at me like who she thinks she is, right? And so there's freedom and there's deliverance in
Amen.
telling your story. And it only helps you to go to that next level. So yes, yes, and more yes. And there's so many women, right? They're carrying a lot. How does um okay, let me put it this way. When women come to you, give us an example of what their stories look and sound like before, you start working with them and helping them to reshape it and redo all the things to it.
I will tell you, I usually don't even, I can't even put words together because they don't have the words to put together, typically. And then what's astounding is that a lot of these women that are like in the world deemed successful, right? They have 6, 7, 8 figure businesses, all of that. The fact that they were able to build it without a story says something, right? It says
Yeah.
something. But imagine the depth. Imagine the increase in stewardship and just what God will release to you when you actually go there and you share that thing or those things or whatever he's calling you to. So it's not that you can't be successful, like you could be successful without it, but is it really you? Is it, or are you just trying to be like a copycat of somebody else? Because we're just mimicking whoever we saw, like, okay, here's where they're at. Let's reverse engineer it and let me try to do the same.
Right.
People are tired of the same. That they feel like they've been, just taken for a ride, been lied to. Like everybody just looks and sounds the same. Be you. And God can really use that. But we're not even comfortable being us. So here's what I tell people. I say, here's the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit is when you work with me, you are gonna have multiple signature stories. Signature story usually starts with like a brand story and then it branches off into different aspects of however you want to serve, but to go deep in certain areas to really get clear of like, this is how I can lead people through it. Signature stories, build a personal brand that actually resonates with people and actually like people want to follow, not just a copycat. And then be able to be a more impactful speaker and have your business like really use this social media as an engine. That's low hanging fruit, which most people, that is their fruit. That's all. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. But that's where people come in for. Now, the high hanging fruit, the stuff that I don't talk about until they're in, is the healing that's about to take place. God opens up doors, and then it's like he strategically will place like, and I've asked so many questions in my career, so it's like I've said I want increase in discernment and wisdom, Lord, so I know how you see them, how we can pull the things out of them, because there's so much that's blocking them up until this point. And so that I can only do like in a one-on-one section or one-on-one sector, but there's ways that you can do it even on your own if you're willing.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is you have to go more layers deep.
Yeah.
I tell people they stop about like maybe layer 2 or 3. You have to go about 7 till
Yeah.
you get to the real thing. I've
Yeah.
tested it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where they don't even have a story, but they're so scared of I don't want to say the wrong one. I don't want to mess up. So I'm just gonna step back and maybe give that job to somebody else. If they're following your personal brand, they need to hear from you. And right now, like being able to have people hear your voice, it's what they want. Like even CEOs of companies, if they can't feel you and see you, they're gonna go skip to the next and there'll be no retention. You want attention to equal retention in your business. The only way you do that is by getting your story out there.
Molly, man, I'm about to throw my laptop. Like, seriously, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I literally talked about this yesterday, and I'm like, y'all,
Mm,
your voice is specific to the people that you're assigned to, and you yourself are an experience. So
mm,
don't just be posting little text stuff and emails. No, they need to see you. They need to hear you. And I said, I'm an experience. Okay. I'm extra. I'm loud. I'm silly. And the people that I'm called to are also an experience. When you get Brittnee and Smith, you're going to get laughter. You're going to get branding, but you're also going to get this Holy Ghost. Okay. You're also,
mm,
because when I'm talking to you, I already see you in your bloomed state. I see you the way
mm.
God sees your brand. And so you're over there talking to me like, yeah, well, I don't know. And I'm like, sis, no, come on. Come on. All right. This is what we're going to do because, and like you said, you pull it out of them. I love how
Mhm.
you talked about there's a healing component that goes along with this. Like you cannot have fullness in your business without total and complete healing and wholeness.
Mm,
You can't. Because until your mind is healed, until your heart is healed, you're going to serve from a broken place. You're going to communicate from a broken place. You're going to accept broken pieces because you're in a broken place. You're not going to
mm.
price properly. You're not going to sign up for the right opportunities because you don't see yourself the way God sees you. So there's work to be done behind the brand. So, girl, yes. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Let me come back. Hey there, I'm so glad that you decided to join us for this episode of the Branded by God podcast. Isn't it good? It is so good, and I love these conversations. And if you're loving this conversation, then I want to invite you to the Branded by God conference happening April 25th, 2026 at the Legacy Club in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You do not want to miss it. The Branded by God conference is an experience for Christian women who are marked by God to master the marketplace. I want to see you. I want to put my arms around you. We are going to have amazing speakers. We're going to have an incredible lunch panel entitled Systems, Sales, and Sabotage. We're going to have the Branded by God vendor marketplace with incredible vendors. So not only are you going to get to meet sisters who are like-minded, get training for your business, get prayer, but you are also going to get to shop till you drop. Conversations like these are going to be happening all throughout the day. There's going to be shopping, delicious food, connecting with like-minded women of God who are in business and ready to take the marketplace in Jesus' name. You need to be in the room. So I want you to visit BrittneeSmithCreative.com/bloom to get your tickets. We are going to sell out and I don't want you to miss out. So make sure I see your face in the place on April 25th at the Branded by God conference. What is the difference? I believe you're going to help the people right here. The difference between oversharing and aligned storytelling.
Mm. I love this question. Aligned storytelling is like you have to get really clear on who you're speaking to. And most people don't want to get clear on that because they don't want to X people out. And when you do get clear, newsflash, you will because it's not for everybody. So it aligned really starts with, and most people miss that part. And that's the first part. I actually have an acronym for how I walk people through stories, and it's called STORY, and the story is an acronym. S is called setting the stage. Most people don't know how to set the stage because they're like, but who am I talking to? And I was like, if you started a business and you don't even know who you're talking to, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like that is not good stewardship at all. So many people chase the strategy, let me make money. You need to chase becoming a better communicator, which being a better communicator is the highest paid skill set you can have. Point blank, period. If you want to invest in anything, learn how to speak better. Not just become a public speaker, a better communicator. Better communicator like indicates you actually want to serve people. Public speakers are a lot of it, they're just in for themselves. Like it's true. So oversharing comes from a place of I'm not really sure. I want to talk to everybody. Let me try to rope everything in there. And people may still resonate with that because they like your energy. They like you. You come with like excitement. And I've done that for many years before I've really refined, even as somebody who's been consulting in this space for a long time. My energy and my countenance has carried me through. And then I'm like, I need to get clear. About every couple months, I'm like, how can I refine? How can I refine? How can I refine?
Yeah.
And so an aligned story is you're nailing it. You're just like, here's who I'm speaking to. Here's your pain point. I've been there too. Here's the solution. Let's work. Like it's literally like boom, boom, boom. So people can know really quick. And we don't have a lot of attention from people these days. It's like real quick, like first 3 seconds, you got to get them.
Yeah.
And then you have to keep them.
Yeah.
And people talk way too much and they're like, well, what happened? I gave you all the information. If I tell, I'm very much a fan of the short form content.
Mhm.
So like, I mean, get it done in 30 to 60 seconds. If you can't do that, then we need to have some work. So that will grab people's attention. When they're really clear and they see your confidence, it's going to pour something into them. They're like, huh, I want to stick around. And then you just keep showing up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I tell people about 85% of my business are referrals. And because how I show up, the
Yeah.
consistency in which I show up, the clarity in which I give. And I teach my clients the same thing because it's like, wouldn't you want that? So you're not having to chase. Now you can have retention and you have their attention because you're just being you. It
Yeah.
takes, so last thing I'll say on this is it's either harder work on the front end or on the back end. Sorry, hard work on the front end or harder work on the back end because now you're having to undo, rewire, and try to fix something that should have been addressed in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when some of us will be nervous or we'll be afraid and we'll just talk. We will just
Yes.
go. We're like, yes, and my dog and my children. Oh, look, a squirrel. Like we just be all over the place.
Pretty.
And yeah, and I mean, I think I kind of overcome I kind have overcome that in terms of I just like to talk. Like y'all still here? Let me tell you another thing. But being being able to be intentional, right? You
Yes.
mentioned the word stewardship. I want to steward the attention well, right? So that people keep coming back, but they know they're going to get value. They know that they're going to get something that's going to encourage them and fill their cup, maybe even provide something that they've been looking for. That's practice and it's an art. And so I always remind people too, like when you are showing up online, it never has to be perfect. You just need to be consistent because your people will give grace as you evolve. They're
Mm,
in the journey with you. There are people
yes.
that have been rocking with me since 2016. And they're like, I remember when. I'm like, yeah, girl, we were a hot mess back in 20. We was on Periscope, a hot mess,
I
okay?
love it.
You know what I mean? And so it's like giving yourself grace. And if you are an oversharer right now, you can be an aligned storyteller tomorrow. Okay, like
Yes.
you don't have to stay where you are. So none of this is to condemn you. This is only to make you better, make you stronger, make you more effective. Because
Yes.
you're out there anyway. God is shining through you anyway. You might as well be effective and strategic now with how you use your voice. Okay. So let's talk about, all right, all right, the tension between being visible, being out there, and all the things and being obedient. How has that played a role in how you move in the marketplace? Like, have you ever, like, I'm about to do this, and God is like, and you're like, oh man, like, talk about that as you are stewarding your story and your business and all the things where obedience falls into play.
It definitely for somebody like myself who likes to move quick. It's like, ooh, idea, flash, boom, let's put it out there. Like I move quick.
Mhm.
Really just I've moved quick and moved without the Lord in other businesses and he's shut them down. And
Ooh,
shut them down all at the worst times, right? So it's like I know the pain of that and I don't want that. Not to say that's everybody's story. But it's so much more worth it when he's like, hold up, it's not done yet. I still haven't done a work in you, or I still want to do more here. I have more revelation. There's more for you. So it's so much better to just be in sync with him, even if it feels like you're moving slower. The only reason we feel like we're moving slow is because we feel like we're missing out and we're not going to get what we need, but he's always going to give us what we need. So obedience is so important, even telling the stories that we don't want to tell, but he wants you to tell. That's probably even like a big thing for most people. You know, for high achieving people, it's like, I'm going to move fast. I'm going to get it done. Boom, boom, boom. He's like, hold up. But for most people, it's like, I need to get you going. But this is going to create more depth, more credibility, more like transparency, which is what people want.
yeah.
And one of the things that I've just been hearing from the Lord constantly over the last like 2 years is we need to increase in discernment. There's
Mm,
so much out there,
yeah.
so much out there. Discern, is this for me? Is this taking my attention? Is this an energy leak? where it's just like, or do I really need to pay attention to this?
Yeah.
I get people sending me stuff all the time, and I have a leak detector. I'm like, leak. Wait, I have to pay attention to that. Why? Okay, there must be something here.
Yeah.
Leak. Like, I just do not want any more leaks in my life because I've lived so long with leaks because I was either people pleasing or I wanted to give people, whatever. And it's like, no, like you don't need to do that. And so I'm just like, show me the leaks, Lord, show me the leaks. And social media is a big leak, for a lot of people. So we get to have
Oh,
discernment of what we need to pay attention to, when we need to get off, and all the things,
yeah.
So it's huge. Like, we get to be in sync and in step with him every single step of the way. And then that also brings peace of like, okay, well, I don't have to do this right now.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I do have to do this right now. Okay, it's time to press in. It must be
Yeah.
time. But we get to have that sensitivity
Right.
to the Holy Ghost and just be like, you show me when and where, when to move. And I'm like a chess pawn, right? Or whatever. The queen. I'll be the queen on the board, right? Like, just move me around.
Yeah.
Whenever you gotta move
Yeah.
me, move me.
Absolutely.
But being obedient to that calling.
Absolutely. And I mean, you have to be able to, well, one, what you're talking about is maturity.
Yes.
That is maturity. We cannot throw temper tantrums and roll around and fuss and fight, because God is pushing us or unctioning us or sending us or whatever it is. And like you said, he could just shut it down. He could just be,
Hmm.
all right, she's not doing, boom, it's done. And now you're like crying. But there's safety in being obedient to God. I heard somebody describe it as God rails. Like, that there's guardrails to keep us from going off the edge.
Mm.
He puts God rails in place so that we don't kill ourselves.
Right.
Many of us are carrying things that we have no business carrying. We are saying yes to opportunities we have no business saying yes to, and wondering why we're burnt out and we're confused and we're, stretched so thin and we're snapping at people and we're gaining weight and we're stressed out. Like, all the things. And God is like, I never intended for you to do any of that,
Mm.
but you're trying to keep up with whatever. And so I've really like coming into January, like December, I was like, Lord, I'm done. Like, I'm tired of everything. Okay. I'm tired of all of it. Like, I'm over all of it. I'm tired of all of it. I need a divine reset because I'm not doing this right. Like, I should not
Mm.
be as worn out as I am. And he's like, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're not carrying what I gave you to carry properly.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what, Lord, you're right. So we all
You right,
kind of,
you right.
you're right, G. Um, so we all have to kind of, like you said sensitivity, being sensitive to God and what He's saying, not just about our children or our marriage or our ministry. What is He saying about your business? What is He saying
Mm.
about the clientele you're called to serve? What we started the Branded by God Bible study this year. And I'm like, Lord, like I don't do that. Like I'm an elder at my church. I love loving on people and walking with people in their lives. But other people host Bible studies. You know what I mean? Like in my head it was like, oh, like Bible study. You hosting Bible study online in front of everybody? Oh, so I was all shook in my spirit, like, Lord, I don't know about this. And he's like, I need you to start using your voice.
Mm.
You have to start using your voice. And I'm like, well, Lord, all right. So I put it up there like, hey, y'all, I'm doing it. And then so I reached out to my pastors and I'm like, I'm trying to be in order. I said, hey, I feel like the Lord is leading me to do this Bible study. Do you have any reservations or, suggestions? I'm thinking they're gonna say like, oh, maybe not right now. I don't know. They were like, nope, go forth. I was like, all right.
Yes. I love it.
Okay. I was waiting for some kind of like, cautionary something. They were like, no, you got it. Go ahead, elder. It's like, ah, shoot. So I say all of that to say sometimes obedience is scary, y'all. It is scary, but it is safety.
Mm.
It's scary, but it's safety. And so the last question I kind of want us to touch on in terms of safety, right? There's also safety in community and togetherness. So talk about how the power of your story can help facilitate community. Because a lot of the people that you work with, a lot of the people that I work with, we want to create community around. And I feel like that's like the wave right now. Like everybody has a
Yes.
community. But not, for us who are branded by God and we're in the marketplace on purpose, you said the word discipleship. It's not
Mm.
just about getting some people in a room. It is about coming together with women who either know God or need to know God so that you can give them what the Lord needs for them to get. And that same community can pour back into you. You guys are holding space for each other, right?
Yes.
So, how does telling your story help build community in your business or around your business?
I think people are so used to just being so surface level and they say, "Oh, I have these friends," but it's like, are they really your friend when like push comes to shove? Like, do they really know the deeper things of you? And I'm not talking everybody needs to know. Like Jesus had 12, but then he had three in the garden, right? He had his own inner circle. Like it's so important to know like who's really for you and how can they be for you if you don't have a level of transparency and vulnerability. And I know I used to struggle with that big, where it's like I was always the strong one, always the leader, always the one that had it all together and all these things, right? And so I just,
Me too.
this thing built up so high that when it started to crash, it was a big crash because it was like, whoo, like this thing just boom. Because I just built up this facade for so long. Even though that is a part of me, God's like, that's not all of you.
Yeah.
And so knowing who we get to share these things with, and that's actually exactly why I birthed the Aligned and Signed Inner Circle. Is like these women that are they hold this weight and this responsibility. They're like, where can I let my hair down?
Yeah.
Where can I actually like share like real deal? These are the problems that I'm having. How can I go deeper with it? Or how can I figure out where it is? Because it's not the strategy. They know it's not the strategy. It's stewardship.
Yeah.
It's a deeper level of stewardship and even discipleship amongst each other, holding each other accountable. So
Absolutely.
people are starving for that, but we keep creating, most keep creating these surface level communities and they're just in it for the vanity metrics. I said it, it's what it is. They're
Yeah.
like, how many people can I get in there? And I'm like, how are you stewarding these people? Phew. Man, I know a couple of people I need to share that with. I just like feel, okay, Lord, okay, got it. It's like it's not about the vanity, it's about the vulnerability and it's about how deep you can go. So, with the community that I just created, that women are joining in, there's only like 10 to 12 spots. Like it's very intimate because I'm like, I'm not in it for the masses, but I know these women are connected. It's like a tree, right? And they all have a root system and that will go and go and go and go. So finding those pillars who I'm called to, that's where I know they can get to the root system and reach many. I'm not in it for the many. I've built memberships where it was a many type of platform. It's anybody could join type of a thing.
Yeah.
And those are great if that's what you're called to. But a lot of women, I feel like right now, especially ones that really want to go to another level and steward well, you're not called to join another program or membership. Like you're called to be in certain rooms, very certain rooms.
Yeah.
And rooms they don't have the capacity for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's in this hour, it's like really get with yourself of if I'm in a community, what is it for? What am I gleaning out of it? What's my intention? Or am I just there because I'm lonely? Am I just there because I want to be surrounded by people? But let's get real with maybe some of those people, not everyone, but pick a few so you can really develop these
Yeah.
deeper rooted relationships that God wants for you because things are great now or maybe they're okay or they're whatever that season you're in. But when push comes to shove and the wind and the waves start kicking up, it's like who's the one that's going to be there when I feel like my root system is literally hanging on by a thread?
Yeah.
Like who is it?
Yeah.
Who is going to be that person? And you don't want to wait until you're on that thread to be like, where are you at? Like, where are you? Like, you
Yeah.
want to know that they're there because they've always been there. So community is important, but like, how are you stewarding that for yourself and even the ones that you're a part of, or if you're the one leading it, how are
Yeah.
you stewarding it well?
Absolutely. It sounds like stewardship is the name of the game,
Yes.
overall, because there are the different areas of our lives that we are stewarding, the relationships that we have the opportunity of forming, we're stewarding those. And I think that it's interesting. I was talking to my bishop the other day that COVID was 6 years ago. Six
Wow.
years.
That's wild.
We are 6 years post COVID, but still reeling from the effects of lack of community, lack of connection. We forgot how to connect when COVID hit, and we're still fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out how to make friends at this big old age. And so I love the fact that um, in our businesses, and this is what God is doing, He's expanding the kingdom, right? He's expanding the kingdom by connecting us to each other, putting the
Yes.
parts of the body back together. And so it's just a beautiful thing. So Molly, parting words to those who are listening right now. You've been hitting them in the heart. The whole conversation has been like, yo, I need to tell my story, but not just the surface one that's safe. I need to tell the story for breakthrough. For somebody, this is confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
God has been tapping them on the shoulder, like, say this, tell that one. And they've been wrestling because they're deathly afraid of the outcome. They're deathly afraid of cancel culture. Parting words for the women who are listening.
There's so many downloads. I'm like writing my own notes. I'm like, Lord, like sticky notes
Yes.
are always a thing. I'm just
Yes.
like, I love this. And that's when you know the conversation's real. The Holy Spirit's just like bam, 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 bam,
Yes.
bam on both sides.
Yes.
So I just want to honor you first and foremost, Brittnee. This has been incredible. I love the way, as stewardship is basically the name of the game today, and always. You have stewarded this so well. And I know I'm just getting to know you, but I love your heart for the people. I love the depth and just the discipleship that you're bringing for people's brand, how they show up. And so God can shine through, have the glory through that. Like if he can use any of the characters of the Bible, any of them,
Yeah.
Moses, David, I mean, all of them, right? They all have something where it's like I don't want to tell
Yeah.
that story, but when they did, we
Yeah.
all saw ourselves in some point in that story. So that really is like the parting thing here is your story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. And it's not maybe the one that's always going to get the big flashing lights on it and all the likes and what have you. But when you are obedient and you put it out there, only God will do what he can do. And whether it's for one person is a whole bloodline, by the way.
Oh my.
A whole bloodline. That's a whole nother conversation. And so we
Yeah.
get to look at that one person. If Jesus left the 99 for the one, we can serve the one, and that one can lead to whatever. And that is where I'm always so focused on. It's not about the many. It is not about the many. So your story is quite literally, it can be and will be mentorship to somebody else. And so I just want to honor you for just having the space to host this podcast, to have this conversation today, because I do think some of the lights started to turn on for people of like, you know what? It's time. It is time because if not now, then when? I'm sure we've all heard that. If not now, then when?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for being here. I love that I'm finding my people for real.
Amen. Me
Like
too.
you are my people, Molly, okay? So thank you for being here with us. Tell us about that offer that you had for us so that we can get our stories together and so that we can be obedient and steward this thing well.
Yes, it's called the three pillar exercise. So I like to frame it like this. It's like we all have a spaghetti noodle bowl for a brain. Like noodles are just flowing around everywhere. And it's like, how do we make sense of all these noodles, like all these stories, all these lived experiences? The three pillar exercise is a way for you to kind of dig in with you, or hey, grab a partner, do it together and work with each other. But you are able to really discover, and I'll kind of give a really simple framework to pair with it. Everybody should have three themes of what their content stands on, right? One of those should be business related or mission related, whatever you're building. Within those themes, you have topics. What topics can you talk about within those themes? And then the last layer is pick two bullet points for the topic that you're going to share. And if you can nail this video in like 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or the written content, and you're really sharp with it, people are going to be like, what? And you're going to be amazed at how much when people do this exercise, especially if I walk somebody through it, I've seen it in real time many times. By the time they're done, maybe after like 20 to 30 minutes, they could have up to 80 different topics. Then you have two bullet points for each of those. And it's like a bank. Every time you withdraw, you need to deposit. So deposit, then withdraw, right? And it's this ongoing list. And you could even redo it once you get all the way through. And you're seeing how much lived experience you can actually talk about rather than in the moment you're like, oh shoot, like your brain just short circuits, like you don't know what you want to say.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. So I use this, a lot of my clients use this, and then they're like, wow, I really can talk about a lot. I really do have a lot in there. So
Yeah.
you're discovering just your own gifts of like, wow, there's so much in there if I take the time to steward that lived experience, put it on a spreadsheet, put it on paper, and allow yourself to see it. And then when it comes time to create content, which is marketing, it is branding, it is putting yourself out there, it's going to be so much more impactful because there's lived experience in it. It's not just, let me just stay up here. Like, not everything is going to be deep, but it will eventually get a little bit deeper so people can actually get to know you, to know if they want to be in your world, be in your circle, be in your program, your room, whatever you may have.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, guys, listen, you are going to get the link to that. Make sure you check out the show notes. If you're getting this via email, it's in the email as well. Thank you guys for jumping in with us today. Y'all, this next season of the Branded by God podcast is about to be litty. Okay. Yes, I brought back Liddy. Okay. It's about to be crazy because we are on our way to the Branded by God conference, and this is what's going to be in the room. This is what it's all about. So if any of this resonated with you, again, look in the show notes, click that link, get your tickets now because time is winding down. And I promise you, if you wait too
Yes.
late, it's going to be sold out. We will sell out, y'all. Okay. So listen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Branded by God podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.